Thank you for joining us for the IDC Future of Trust presentation for the CIO Summit. My name is Grace Trinidad. I am the Research Director of the Future of Trust program at IDC, and I'll be talking to you today about generative AI and trust and how companies are thinking about the trustworthiness of AI and generative AI tools. For today, I'll go over a quick overview of trust research in AI. So what is the research saying about the trustworthiness of AI and what is required in order to trust AI? And then I'll go into the components necessary for trustworthy AI. This is research conducted at IDC based on research that I conducted at the University of Michigan. After that, we'll talk about the ethical considerations that are concerning to decision makers and organizational leaders, and will support you in considering an AI governance framework. So this is born from review of multiple governance frameworks that exist currently. And at IDC, we've compiled them into an overarching framework that we hope will support you as you deploy artificial intelligence in your environments. After that, we'll finish with future considerations for AI research, where the current gaps are and where more guidance is needed. So I always like to level set trust and provide a definition of what we mean when we talk about trust. It's something that we need in order to conduct our daily lives and is really the foundation of our everyday interactions. At IDC, the definition that we usually use is trust is a condition between two or more entities that reflects the level of confidence between parties. Another acceptable definition that we use is trust is an expectation or willingness to impart authority and accept vulnerability to another in fulfilling a given set of tasks. And it can't be underscored how important trust is to everything that we do. I open my computer and I trust all the applications that I used yesterday will be there today. I open my fridge and I trust that the food that I hold there won't make me sick. Trust is required in order for us to move forward confidently with both everyday mundane things and technologies like AI and generative AI. Research on trust in AI has found repeatedly that trust is the number one predictor of AI and generative AI acceptance or willingness to use. So if I say that in another way, trust is a prerequisite for AI adoption. Other research on trust has shown that human calibration or the involvement of individual humans in the recommendation generation process can increase trust. Research also shows that trust decreases with each error that AI makes. And then maybe most strangely, and I could do an entire presentation on this finding alone, trust can be repaired if apologies or explanations are offered using human-like behavior. So those are just some things to note about the rich research being done in trust in AI and how critical trust is to AI adoption. Before coming to IDC, I did research at the University of Michigan on trust in AI amongst healthcare providers. And we found that healthcare providers were more confident in AI should the following information be provided. In 50 interviews with healthcare experts, the trust priorities, or what they required in order to trust AI models, were detailed population data, information on the methodology behind the model or evidence that the model was sound, peer review of the model to certify its credibility, current usages of the model, who the model developers were, and when the model was last updated. At IDC, we took these results and surveyed our own population of organizational leaders and decision makers and discovered this. So here are the results of that survey research, totaling 881 respondents. The accuracy rate of the model, unsurprisingly, had the greatest impact on the trustworthiness of AI. Second was detailed information on the population on which the algorithm or model was developed. But these results are quite complicated in actuality because they differ greatly by region. And I'll show you what I mean. So we see accuracy rate of the model. Now, these are the results for North America. In North America, we see that the items that have a major or moderate impact on the trustworthiness of AI is detailed information on the population on which the algorithm or model was developed. However, most interestingly, second was peer review of the model methodology and output. And this comes up again with industry respondents. We saw this same prioritization of peer review emerge when we slice this data by industry. If we look closely at EMEA next, we see that trust, or the impact of these same items on the trustworthiness of AI technologies, decreased. Respondents were more circumspect about what would contribute to the trust and trustworthiness of AI. But similar to global responses, the accuracy rate of the model was number one, as the number one contributor to the trust and trustworthiness of these models. Second, however, was reputation of the organization and team that developed the model. And so we're seeing a lot of these results be quite similar to the research conducted at the University of Michigan. In Asia Pacific, accuracy rate of the model was again on top, but this time followed by information on when and why the model was last updated. Trust, much like these results, is contextual. And so depending on what product and where the product is deployed, how critical the infrastructure is, these items will change. The importance of these pieces of information will change. But it is worth understanding how people are looking at models and how people are interpreting what's important. A more detailed report on how the survey shook out based on company size, industry, and role in the organization is available at IDC. And there are some very interesting differences by industry specifically. But right now, we're going to go into the ethical considerations that are most concerning for leaders and decision makers around the globe. In September 2023, in a worldwide survey, we asked what data quality issues were most concerning regarding the adoption of AI and generative AI technologies. Worldwide, AI training on false or incorrect information that is unknown or undetected was most worrisome to leaders and decision makers, and this held for both Western Europe respondents as well as Asia Pacific respondents. American or North American respondents were almost split on AI training on false or incorrect information and on data manipulation. When asked what security and privacy issues were most concerning regarding the adoption of AI and generative AI technologies, the responses were pretty evenly split on risks to privacy of personal information and the risk of security of data or intellectual property. I know that was a very short section. We could probably spend the entire session talking only about those concerns regarding the adoption of generative AI, but next I'll talk to you about AI governance. As a trust researcher, I found that AI governance that is aligned with your organization's pre-existing mission and values is one way to secure trust from your customer base and from your employees. While concerns around the security and privacy and quality of AI models is paramount, employees and customers are also concerned about the adoption of AI for AI's sake. And so alignment with your current mission and values indicates to both employees and customers that the adopted or developed AI systems are intended to support human agency and not usurp it. In September 2023, we ran a survey asking what organizations worldwide were doing with regards to generative AI. 29% of respondents said that we are developing a list of potential use cases, but we're not yet investing in technology or model building. And then 29% also said, another 29% also said, we were doing some initial testing of models and potential use cases, but don't have a set spending plan in place. So for the 75% who have not yet selected their AI products, now is a really good time to consider an external facing as well as an internal facing AI governance document or set of policies to ensure that any AI that is introduced into your organization is aligned with your existing security, privacy, compliance, and ethical standards. Anecdotally, very large organizations that I work with are struggling to control the haphazard and ad hoc adoption of AI technologies in their environments. Every single line of business has their own interest in AI. Also in September 2023, we asked respondents worldwide if they've established guidelines on the use of generative AI. 19% of respondents worldwide said guidelines were in place, allowing for wide-ranging use of generative AI. And then 36% that guidelines were in place, allowing only limited use of generative AI. And you can see these differences by region if we look at North America, Western Europe, and Asia Pacific. I'm sure we'll see those numbers change as the security of generative AI becomes more robust. So now we'll go into a sort of overarching approach to AI governance. There are multiple frameworks out there, and if you found one that fits your organizational needs quite well, then by all means, that one is the one you should go with. A governance framework is better than no governance framework. At IDC, we take a sort of three-bucket approach to simplify the guidance, and that will start with, at the very heart of it, responsible AI. This refers to whether or not the technology respects privacy, autonomy, social responsibility, if the developers of that technology or the adopters of the technology have considered the human societal impact of the AI technology on this environment. Is the data and the model inclusive and equitable? Is it human-centered? And then ultimately, is it sustainable? And IDC is conducting a lot of research on the sustainability of AI technologies. Built around that heart of responsible AI is the performance of the model. Organizational leaders are interested in the interpretability of the model, whether the model has been validated, how it's been validated, and how ongoing validation is occurring, whether there is human in the loop in order to flag and make changes when necessary. What is the scale of the AI model? How well can it support 500 users at a time, 1,000 users at a time, 10,000 users at a time? How reliable is that model? What is the data and output quality of the model? What is the accuracy rate of the model? And then transparency and explainability at the very top of the performance bucket. A well-performing model still needs operations built around it in order to support it. In the operations bucket, we've included a lot. What is the business impact of this technology? How are you monitoring for ROI? What is your operational readiness for AI technologies? Do you have the talent in place to supervise the AI model and not just rely on external support? Is your security infrastructure in place to secure the model? And do you have a governance structure in place? What is your risk management approach? And is legal and compliance involved? In addition, we're thinking about strategic planning, training and education, and communications and reporting. Communications and reporting is particularly important because the entire infrastructure or ecosystem learns alongside you. I know that this is a short overview of generative AI and AI technologies. There is so much more that we could dive deeply into. But for this last slide, I'm going to leave you with some current gaps in our understanding of AI and where more guidance is needed. In this presentation, I presented the idea of a peer review model for AI, and I honestly was not prepared for how much peer review of models would contribute to the trustworthiness of AI models worldwide. But we have so many questions. What would peer review of AI models look like? Who would be doing the peer review? And how will we vet or trust that the peer reviewers are worthy peer reviewers of that AI model? Maybe something similar can be accomplished through model certification, but the same attendant questions remain. Who will be doing the certifying? How will certification be provided? So there are a lot of questions in how to approach this question. There are also gaps in explainability standards, fairness standards, safety standards, human and AI collaboration frameworks, and liability frameworks. These are areas where guidance is still needed by the industry and by organizations adopting AI. And we're still not sure how to best explain AI, what fairness means in the context of AI. We do know what bias means, but for some instances and in some cases, a small sample, a very narrow results might be appropriate. It depends on the usage case, and it really depends on the type of research being conducted. Safety and human AI collaboration still requires articulation of where the AI will be used, and then for liability, that is beyond my purview, but we're still sorting out liability of these AI frameworks as well. So these are just future areas of research where we still need guidance, and I look forward to keeping an eye on the research and updating you when I come across it. Thank you so much for your time. Please contact me if you have any questions, and I'm available at the email provided on this slide. Thank you.